Hi everyone, welcome back to another session of Bhagavad Gita. We are going to do today chapter 2, text number 16 of Bhagavad Gita. This is on page number 82 of the hardbound Bhagavad Gita if you have a book and you're following along. We'll do a little recap from our previous session. We saw in the previous session, chapter 2, text number 14. Text number 14, Krishna is saying, tolerate. The coming and the going of difficulties in our life are like coming and going of winter and summer season. So the message of text 14 is just tolerate. And as we tolerate, discharge your duty. And in order to encourage Arjuna to tolerate and discharge his duty, Krishna is calling upon his names Kaunteya and Bharata, saying, Arjuna, you have a great lineage. You come from a very great lineage. Your father is Pandu, who is son of Vyasadeva. Your mother is Kunti, and both have such a great reputation. You cannot let them down by not following your duty. Text number 15, Krishna is giving us the message of how one can attain liberation. He's saying we can attain liberation when we tolerate, we keep discharging our duty. What happens when we keep doing that? We attain liberation. And then he qualifies, saying, what is the eligibility for liberation? He says two things. First is one has to be determined for self realization, and second, one has to not get disturbed by the changing circumstances in our life. And then we saw what is our duty. So Bhagavad Gita is being spoken for Arjuna to understand his duty and perform his duty. And the parallel line for us is we understand our duty and we perform our duty. So we saw what is our duty. Our duty is to chant the holy name of the Lord, which will allow us to please Krishna and keep moving forward towards Him. Agenda for today is we will move ahead with text number 16 of chapter 2. We'll see what text 16 says. Part of it is no endurance of changing bodies. Lord Krishna's instruction begins. So apparently Krishna is starting to speak to Arjuna, and this is the very first instruction that Krishna is giving to Arjuna. We will see what is our relationship with the Lord, and we will see how to realize our eternal relationship. I'll start with prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, who, with the torchlight of knowledge, has opened my eyes, which were blinded by the darkness of ignorance. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. My dear Lord, and the spiritual energy of the Lord, kindly engage me in your service. I am now embarrassed with this material service. Please engage me in your service. So this is text number 16 of chapter 2. It reads, those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. My mistake, I forgot to change the number below. So this is chapter 2, text number 16. And what this text is emphasizing is there is no endurance of the body and there is no change in the soul. And this they have concluded by studying the nature of both. So one may say, you know what, this is very complex subject matter, body and soul and all this stuff. I don't have so much time, neither do I have capacity nor intelligence to figure out what they are speaking. And so the last sentence, it is being said, they have already concluded. So we'll see who are they, but then it's already been laid down for us. It's being made very easy for us to understand this concept. And let's see what it means. No endurance of changing body. The word endurance means it does not last. So the body doesn't last forever. Like we see in this picture. This is a very famous picture of changing bodies. There is a body of a very infant boy, and then slowly the body grows into a big adult, and then the body starts to deteriorate, and we have to go and take another body because at one point in time this body will be apparently not in good shape and useless for us to function. So the body changes every moment. How? There is action and reaction of different cells. Modern science has also proved every 7 years we have a new body. Why? Because apparently all the cells in the body get replaced due to different actions and reactions over a period of 7 years. So body is changing every moment. And as a result of the body changing every moment, what happens? We grow and then we hit old age. On the other hand, there is something which is not changing and which is permanent, which is the soul. So, what I did in my baby body and what I did in my adult body, I remember even today, although I may not be able to do the same things because my body is aging, but I have remembrance. And from where is that remembrance coming? There is something in the body that's not changing. And that's the soul. So the soul is permanent. So the difference between the body and the soul is body is changing, the soul is permanent. Body is ever changing, soul is eternal. Eternal meaning the soul does not have a beginning and an end. So once I leave, I, meaning the soul, my soul, leaves this body, the soul takes another body. So the soul never dies. The body does, but the soul continues its journey further with another body. So the soul is eternal. And this conclusion is established by all classes of seers of truth. So there are seers of truth, there are some personalists, and there are some impersonalists, and they have done a vast study and have come to conclusions due to their study. And they, the seers of the truth, have concluded that body is changing and the soul is eternal. Now, for a moment, consider what will we give importance to, something that's changing or something that's permanent. Let's take a mundane example of I having friends. There are some friends who always stick along with me in my good times, in my not so good times. They always stick around me, and time and again it has been proved and that they stick around me. And there are some friends, some people, um, they sometimes and sometimes not. So who will I give my attention to? My friends who stick around me always, no matter what, or will I go give importance to people who sometimes and not sometimes? So I give importance to people who always stick around me, right? They, because they are my friends. They have proved that they are my permanent friends. So I give importance to them. Similarly, if I know, hey, my body is going to change and one day deteriorate and go away, and my soul is permanent, then it makes sense to give importance to the soul and to learn how to give importance to the soul. And because the soul is what's not changing. Lord Krishna's instruction begins apparently. This is the first instruction Krishna is giving to Arjuna. He's saying, Arjuna, body changes, soul is permanent. So pay attention to what's not changing, and why do you worry so much about something that's changing, because it's changing anyhow. Removal of ignorance. So until one is in ignorance, which we all are today, it is not possible to give attention to the soul. All our attention goes to the body, which is after all changing. What requires to remove this ignorance and for us to focus on the soul? Krishna is saying it involves re-establishment of our eternal relationship. So we all have a relationship with Krishna, which is our eternal relationship. And somehow we have forgotten that relationship. And when we can re-establish that relationship, helps us to remove our ignorance. What is the ignorance? Ignorance of thinking that I am this body. What will also help us to remove this ignorance is understand the difference between living entity and Krishna. I exist and I have needs and I have desires and I am going out and doing stuff to accomplish things. It's all about me, but there is also someone else called God or Krishna, and because of him I am here today. So if I invest time in understanding what's my relationship with him, what is the difference between me and God, it helps me, it it catapults me to uh, removal of ignorance, in the direction of removal of ignorance. So these two things, building our relationship with Krishna, and then trying to understand what's the difference between him and me will help us remove our ignorance, and then we can focus on the soul better instead of being absorbed in the body. And how to understand the Supreme? We can understand the Supreme by a thorough study of oneself. The difference between Krishna and us is like the difference between the part and the whole. There is a machine, and then there is a part of the machine. So, if Krishna is the machine, then we are a small part of the machine, which means if we can help ourselves cooperate to perform the function of the small part to help the machine run, then we are doing our job. So that's the instruction of Lord Krishna to Arjuna. Dwelling into it further, what is our relationship with the Lord? The living entity is always, always, always subordinate to the Supreme. We never become the Supreme, we are always subordinate to the Supreme. Our relationship with Krishna is like the master and the servant. Like Prabhupada always gives an example of the hand and the stomach. The hand can never eat a gulab jamun. The hand takes the gulab jamun, puts it in the mouth chews it, it reaches the stomach, and when the stomach digests it, the hand receives the nourishment to function. So the hand is like a servant to the whole body. And similarly, we are like servant to Krishna. Another example is a teacher and a student. Krishna is the teacher and we are the student. So that's our relationship with the Lord. Such clear knowledge is impossible to understand under the spell of ignorance. Because we are covered with ignorance, it is impossible for us to understand that Krishna is the master, I am the servant, and my only duty is to serve Krishna. To drive away our ignorance, Krishna very kindly is speaking Bhagavad Gita for the enlightenment of all living entities at all times. So that is Krishna's special mercy upon us. He is helping us by speaking Bhagavad Gita so we can become enlightened and come out of the ignorance thinking I am this body. Now, one practical application point. We may hear a class and say, oh, I am not this body. But how to realize in the core of my heart that I am not this body and that I am a servant of Krishna. This mantra has been given to us, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Please repeat. If you're watching, please repeat. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The chanting of this mantra will help us to realize our eternal relationship, to understand I am not this body. So please take 10 minutes of your time every single day and chant this mantra. It will help us to understand our relationship with the Lord and work in that relationship with the Lord. Summary for today is we saw text number 16 of chapter 2. Text number 16 says, we are not this body. There is no endurance of the body. Body changes and the soul remains constant. They, the seers of the truth, have concluded this fact. So there is no endurance of changing bodies. Bodies change. What is permanent is the soul. We go from one body to another, but our soul never changes. Our body, we change bodies, the soul is permanent. Lord Krishna's instruction begins here. Krishna is saying, pay attention to the permanent, which is the soul, and body is anyhow changing. What is our relationship with the Lord? Our relationship with the Lord is of a servant. We today cannot realize that relationship because we are in ignorance. To come out of this ignorance, we can try to understand the difference between the Lord and us, and we can strive to re-establish our relationship with Krishna. How to re-establish? By the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That is how we realize our relationship with the Lord. Please feel free to send in any text if you have any questions, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful week ahead. We'll see you again. Hare Krishna.